Tree Hill.
Greetings, Starfighters. Welcome to Mad Science Films. I'm Jimmy P, filmmaker, sexual astronaut. And this week is a very special episode. I'm joined by a very special guest. He may well be the most prolific filmmaker of the last 18 months. It's one-man music video maestro, Tom Hughes of Ritual Video. Hello, Tom. How's it going, man?
Pretty awesome intro.
The other thing that I really dig about the videos that you've done in a year and a half is that you're constantly evolving, and I can tell that you're learning new tricks as you go as well. Yeah. Haven't seen the video yet, but I saw some behind the scenes stuff that you were shooting on Super 8.
It's something I wanted to do for ages. Like, I've always wanted to shoot on film, and Super 8 is like the cheapest way I could shoot on film. So I found people that would develop it. There's kind of the normal color reversal Super 8 film, which is relatively easy to process and it has a fast turnaround time. And then I think there's maybe like color negative, or there's like an Ektachrome version as well. So there's like a Kodachrome version, which is like warmer, and there's an Ektachrome version, which is colder. I wanted the cold version, which is Ektachrome 100D. So I found somebody in the UK, Gauge Film near Bristol, who sold it, and they included processing. What I didn't know is that the turnaround time on their website of a month is for normal film, not for like reversal. So they don't process reversal until they get 100% reels. So I shot my reel for this video, and I shot all the digital footage as well. So what I did was I shot digitally, and then I doubled it on Super 8 in case the Super 8 came out completely dark, because buying a Super 8 camera off eBay is difficult because there are things you have to look for. The light meter needs to work, the battery thing needs to not be corroded, and then obviously the camera needs to run, the motor needs to turn, the lens needs to be clean. But it's a kind of a minefield. I had to do about a month of research to buy a camera, and I had to do about a month of research to buy the film, which I got wrong and still bought the wrong film. So then I go and I shoot digitally, and I also shoot on Super 8 at the same time. The motor's running, it gets to the end of the film and it says exposed, and I'm like, thank God, you know. I send it off, and then I wait 6 weeks, 2 months or something for everyone else in the UK to shoot a roll of 100D and send it into this place before they'll develop it. And then I finally get it back, and it came out great. Like, I love it. But if anybody is thinking about shooting Super 8 for the first time, use Kodachrome 100D or 200T or 500T, because that will be developed loads quicker than using color negative film. Don't use color negative films. Just grade your stuff more blue if you want the look of it, and save yourself a month.
I mean, are you using all of these tricks in view of an end goal? Like, you know, are these things that you've got like, oh, okay, I've got an idea for a feature, I could test drive it out on this music video and stuff like that? Do you find yourself doing that? Or
not for features. It's more about what fits the video, like what fits the style of the video. So if I use something like Super 8, it's because I need it to look old. It's kind of an Americana, old-timey blues thing. And all the references that we talked about were like Devil's Rejects and House for 1,000 Corpses and the original Texas Chainsaw. So I was like, this is when I should shoot on film. You know, if I'm going to shoot on film, I need to be shooting this stuff on film because it'll fit. I've just done a video for one of my own bands. That was going to be completely VHS. I wasn't going to shoot it on video, but I was just going to make it look like video to match the style of it. We ended up shooting some really nice 4K footage, and I couldn't bring myself to degrade it to VHS. So I've ended up with quite a glossy, nice looking video. But usually they're not necessarily to test out things for the future. They're just like, what would fit the style of what I'm doing now?
Yeah. Like
the video that I'm doing on Sunday is a woman being possessed for 3 minutes. It's the Zulawski Isabella Gianni scene from Possession in 1981. That's basically what it is. Nice. So I know for that I need a snorri cam. I need to be able to attach a body camera to somebody. I need it to be one long unbroken take. So I got myself a rig from Sale Video Systems in Denmark, maybe I want to say. This big metal pole, you know, with the camera on and everything. So like that, like with that, it's just her headspace is so frantic and crazy. The only way I could think to shoot it was using a snorri cam and have it just be fixed on her the entire time, like Requiem for a Dream. So with that rig now, I've ordered that stuff, and I've got the camera to sit on there, and I've got a little battery operated LED color change light that I can light red. We're shooting at blue hour, so you should see this crazy red possessed face running around,
Nice.
with a nice blue background, you know, and it kind of is always what would fit the story the best, you know. I think that's something that I didn't do when I was starting off. And now I'm like, I don't need to cover anything 10 ways. I need to just, because I used to shoot coverage because you're supposed to shoot coverage, if that makes sense. Oh, that's how you cover a scene.
Yeah.
And now I've gone completely the other way. And I'm like, if I can do this in one shot, then that's better. It's better for the audience. It's better for the actors. It's better for me.
I think you've probably also got a bit
more.
more. You've probably got a bit more leeway in a music video as well. Than in terms of constructing a scene than you would perhaps in a traditional narrative short film, in terms of covering
the difficult. Yeah, I think the hard part is you have to chop so much to get it to fit into a music video.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I use really specific actors, because the actors that I use give you micro moments that work in slow-mo. Because I also shoot a lot of my music videos, I shoot at 50 frames and slow them down by half.
Yeah.
One, I have to shoot less footage, which is great. I can get more footage out of my day. And also, I know the actors are going to give me these really small emotional moments. So if I isolate those really small emotional moments, then I can do a scene that would take an entire, 4 minutes of dialogue and things, and I can do that with 3 looks in slow-mo because of these actors. It's the way I've developed the shooting, but it's also knowing who you're casting and knowing, okay, they're going to give me, I need her to be angry and her to be hurt, and she's going to give me real fury, and the other actor's going to give me real pain at some point. I'll just use those 2 bits.
I've noticed, a lot of that with Andy in See You in Hell and Circle of Power that she was in as well with the witch.
That one, I love that video so much. That was a video that I took on for less money than I normally do videos for, because these guys were like 19. Their dad recorded it for them because he knows about metal and recording. Their mum was going to pay for the video. Really nice guys. Their first band that they've done. I was in bands when I was that age. I know exactly what it's like. So I really wanted to give these guys an awesome video, and they were really open to whatever I wanted to do, and like they were really cool about everything. So I basically got to make something really cool for them, and that was a video where Mandy's performance was so amazing that I couldn't choose between. I didn't do many takes. Maybe I did 3 takes of everything. I tend to do more than 2 always, but I don't do more than 5 normally. So, but that was hard. Like coming up, there's a shot in that when a torch is lit in the foreground and she's she's tied to a tree, and it's the moment where she's like, "They're gonna burn me alive." And I had so many takes of that moment. They were all as good as the one that's in the video. That's the beauty about working with people that you trust. Is the hardest part is selecting the takes, because they're so fucking good every time.
You've seen the Zoom thing we did with Emma, where the heads explode.
I saw them all, man. Yeah,
that's same thing with that. Like the reactions at the end, we had Sarah, Joe, and it was like I cheated. Like a lot of the times, I was like, actually
you cut different takes
together.
I'll literally add a cutaway to bridge 2 amazing takes. I do it all. I'll cut to someone. I'll cut to someone I don't necessarily need to, just to bridge 2 amazing takes by usually Emma or Mandy.
So most recently that I've checked out, mate, was your 8-bit music video for, is it Morgul Blood?
Morgul Blade. What I try to do every time I'm making stuff is I try and do whatever I'm into right now, because I get bored really, really easily. So I'm furiously into something for 6 weeks and I couldn't give a shit about it, and I'm on to the next thing, because I'm always doing 5 things at once. Sure. And I'm always onto something new all the time. So at the time, I tried to take some time off. I told myself, okay, you need to take a month off. You need at least a few weeks or whatever. So I bought an Xbox off my brother, and I bought Game Pass, and I started playing games again. I downloaded all the Castlevania collection and all the old games on there that I used to play when I was younger. And I played some new horror games. I haven't played games for maybe 15 years. So I started playing some of the horror games that are out now, and it's like playing an interactive film. It's fucking mind blowing. You know, I feel like an old guy, being like, bloody hell, look at this. You know what I mean? Like, it was blowing my mind. So games and retro games for something I was just really into at the time anyway. And I pitched them two ideas. One was a POV, an entirely POV medieval thing, because they wanted something medieval. There's a shot that I've been doing quite a lot. It's in the Maidenhair video, and it's in the Arx Atrata video that I did recently. And it's just a POV with a sword moving through a landscape. I love that view so much. So if anybody sees this and they want to make a video that's an entirely a POV with a torch and a sword, then send me a message, because I really, really want to do that video. But the other thing I pitched to them was, what if, because the song was based on the Beast of Gévaudan or whatever from the 1600s or whatever it was, the first recorded werewolf case that was kind of internationally published in newspapers. And there was this region of France that was being kind of like attacked by this monster for a few months. So because of that, I was like, okay, I can't get a werewolf costume. I can't make a werewolf look good on a low budget. How do I do a werewolf movie, And then it was kind of like, well, I'm into games, maybe I could draw it. And like, there were like assets and stuff I could get, like backgrounds and things that I got to save myself some time. Like I bought some things for it. I downloaded some stuff for it. I drew some stuff for it. And I didn't know how to use After Effects. So I animated the entire thing in Premiere, just using keyframe animations. So like, there's this program called A-Sprite. And I use that on my laptop to draw the stuff and then to make little GIFs of them walking. So the walking animation or the idle animation will just be that or that in place. And then to make them walk, I'll keyframe the walk, and then I'll replace that with the idle. And then, so it ended up being a really fun process to do, a really long process to do, like the editing and trying to get the keyframes, because I had to make loads of nests to make everybody move at once as a group and all that kind of stuff. But it ended up being great. And it kind of, I think I was so burnt out with going out and doing these 6-week shoots with actors and everything, that doing a video in my house, having a cup of tea and doing a bit of drawing was lovely, mate. It was so nice. So now, obviously, because I can't leave anything alone, I've bought this iPad, and I've bought Pixaki, which is an app to draw pixel art on. I bought an Apple Pencil, and I've just taken it to the next stage now, which is a fully narrative music video with shots, and every shot is an animated pixel art GIF that I've hand drawn. So I've just spent the last month, I finished last night, I've drawn 70 shots for this narrative music, for this cyberpunk Blade Runner style music video for this band that's going to be out at the end of the year, I think. And that's kind of the new thing I'm going to start doing now. So I'll be able to do the narrative videos that I normally do, but you can set it wherever you want, and you can have whatever you want happen. Like the freedom I've found through like animation is amazing, because I'm always so bound by budget and what I can pull off. And I feel like I work low budgets as much as I can. Like I'm really working them to get as much out of as possible. But animating stuff, yesterday I was animating somebody's face melting off like an Indiana Jones, and it only took me like 20 minutes, and I was like, this would be so much effort if I had to get makeup in and a prosthetic head and all, you know what I mean? It was great.
So basically you're going to stay in your house from now on, and just any music videos, 8-bit.
I'll just draw it.
Nice.
Yeah. You send me the money and I'll stay in my house and draw it on an iPad and send it back to you. Good,
I had a similar thing with the Zoom shorts. It was so nice just, directing from my hack, like going back, like we've got some physical shoots planned. I'm like, oh God, man, I'm going to drive. There's going to be a commute, all of this stuff, and making sure everybody else
I go do lunch.
I mean, obviously with music videos, you're kind of limited then with screening opportunities and everything like that. YouTube being like the most obvious kind of, like method for getting eyeballs on your content. Is there much of a life for music videos outside of YouTube?
Yeah, I think so. I think what tends to happen is magazines tend to premiere the videos a lot, which is quite nice. So they embed them, and maybe they have an exclusive stream for a couple of weeks. And then putting them on Instagram is always good, because you get more of an audience. it's kind of sucks because everyone just watches all this stuff on their phone, but then I'm guilty of it too. You know, if I just see something on Instagram, I'm just going to turn my phone sideways and watch it.
Yeah.
It's only if I actually sit down to watch something specific, like when you did your shorts, I watched them on a TV, but I knew I wanted to watch them all, so I sat down and watched them all specifically. You know, so I feel like the people who would want to watch that kind of thing would maybe watch it on a telly and type it into their PlayStation to find it or whatever. Aside from that, there are festivals that do music video things, but the music video category tends to be as expensive to enter as the short film category. You know, and sometimes you're looking at like 20, 30 quid. You don't really get too much for it. And the audience that I'm looking for aren't necessarily at film festivals anyway, you know. So I tend to keep it on all my social media channels. Having said that, there's one video I did when I mentioned earlier the band that asked me to make a Fulci zombie film for them that was 12 minutes. I made that last summer. That's doing its festival run now, actually. So that was a cool thing with I can't really say what it is yet, but like the guy from the band who is the guitarist wanted to score a film in that style because he makes really great synth stuff. So he did they commissioned the film as a bonus feature for their album reissue, which is going to come out on DVD, maybe even VHS actually at the end of this year. And he did the whole score. So then they wanted to put it into festivals as well. So they gave me a budget and I entered it into a bunch of festivals over the last year. And we've got into a few. It's been nice. I actually entered the big ones for the first time, and all of them turned it down because it's a grindhouse 80s B movie. You know what I mean? Like it's really kind of hammy, and it's the similar actors again. You know, I've used a lot of the same people, but we really hammed it up, and there's a lot of crash zooms, and there's a lot of blood, and you know, it's really something happens and the synth goes bow. You know what I mean? So all the respectable festivals are like, what is this? But then all the underground B movie grindhouse film festivals have programmed it at midnight and stuff, which has been great. So I think if you do things for a certain audience, there's a life. You know, you can put it into film fests and get it seen places. But my overall impression of doing film festivals after submitting them to the last few years is it's just a racket to make money, to be honest. And unless you're looking to get into the industry or speak to producers or pitch ideas for features or whatever, it probably isn't beneficial if you just want to make music videos like me. You know, I think as a way in, yeah, definitely really good. But if you're not looking to get in and you're looking to stay in the weird fringes like I am, then don't waste your money.
As a filmmaker, what's your ultimate goal? Is it music vids? Is it TV, feature films? Is it all of it?
My goal was to be a feature director making low budget films that go straight to DVD in the UK. My goal now is to shoot weddings for money and do music videos as a creative outlet. So I still need budgets. I still would obviously like to get paid as something myself for doing them. But my main goal really is to use music videos as a way to be creative because of the freedom it gives you. And I will make one feature before I stop making films. There will be a point in the next probably 5 years where I don't make films anymore. Because I'm going to have a family and I'm going to move somewhere quite rural and I'm going to, you know, get rid of the social media stuff and I'm just going to live just a life that doesn't have so much pressure on myself and me pushing myself, and I'm going to make music and I'm going to chill out. But before I do that, I will make a feature. I've been trying to find a way to make a feature for the last couple of years, and there's been people I've spoke to who would help me produce it, which is great. There's been people that I know who would put me in touch with financiers, which is awesome. But my main thing I've been trying to work out, similar to what we were talking about earlier, is how do I make a feature without shooting 30 days and completely burning myself out? You know, I have a year of work to prep, and then I have 20 days of shooting or 30 days of shooting, and then I'm in an absolute hole for a bit and I'm completely burnt out on people because I'm an introvert. And then I spend the next year doing an edit, and then I spend the next year trying to get it out. So I realized I realized something probably about a month ago or whatever. So I was developing a feature idea with Lewis Carter, who works at Fine Rolling Media in Cardiff. That feature idea ended up growing and growing and growing and being so big that I was like, I don't even. It was Near Dark and VFW, if you've seen VFW. So it was bikers. It was recovering alcoholics versus vampire bikers in a garage. I really like it. I thought it was good. I came up with the idea. Lewis wrote the script for the feature. We worked on that. We wrote the script for that. But that was going to be my first feature. And I spoke to like people like Broadside and things about helping me produce it. But then I kind of was like, it's so big, it's so ambitious, and it's so crazy. That's probably a second feature. I don't think that's a first feature. I think it would run away from me and just be so huge. And also I would need such a budget to make it. I've never been one of those people who said, oh, if they just gave me 3 million, I could make my film. I don't want to be one of those guys. I've met a lot of those guys and they're just like, oh yeah, but I couldn't possibly make it because I don't have 50 grand. And I just feel like if you're one of those guys, you're never ever going to make anything ever, because you'll just keep making an excuse. So you have to go, if I can get 5 grand, this is what I can do. If I can get 10 grand, then I can do this. Brilliant. And I think that feature was probably about 10 to 15. But the idea I've come up with now is I'm going to do my favorite kind of film, which is a Halloween horror anthology film. This is what I love more than anything. All I do every October is watch, Trick or Treat and like all the anthology films. So what I'm going to do is over the next year or so, I'm going to direct a 25-minute wraparound. I'm going to direct one 15-minute short. Everything's going to be written into one overarching story, so it all ties into the same universe. And then there are directors that I've spoken to, and I'm going to give each director, okay, you have 15 minutes, you have a maximum budget of say $1.5 grand, and this is the story you have to tell. So like, it'll be really simple. It'll just be like scarecrows come to life and attack a farmhouse. That's what you have to do. And then you have to do this and you have to do that. So I've kind of written all the ideas for each short and what it's going to be. I've spoken to the directors, which is really exciting, and everybody's pretty much up for it. We're all going to put up the money for it ourselves, and then eventually I'm going to put it out on DVD. We'll try and get it distributed. We'll try and put it into festivals and things, but regardless, I'll try and get it on Prime, and I'll be pressing it to DVD myself and selling it through my website. And I think that'll be my feature, because that was always my end goal before I stop, because I always knew I'd stop, is just to make one feature and go, we made that, you know what I mean? And I think the anthology is probably the way to do it.
Nice, brilliant.
So at some point in the next 2 years.
So Tom, what I'm going to say then, in about 2 years' time, before you go off and become a hermit, can we get you back on the show and let us know how you got on with the feature and how all of that went? Because thank you so much, man. I mean, this has been a mammoth chat. I know you've probably got about 20 other music videos you need to churn out. So thanks for joining us, dude. We will drop links to your videos and your website and everything down below. And yeah, we'll definitely have to catch up again and find out how your anthology horror went, dude.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it'll be in the next 2 years.
Nice one. I've got mixed feelings about it, mate. If it means you stop, making other stuff, then that's how I'll ask. But, do what you gotta do, man.